Well, there's been a few changes to GTA Online recently, so it's probably about time to review the retro arcade again and see if it's still worth the effort. My name's Dan, and I'm an old grumpy gamer. We've got a lot of ground to cover here. This is one of the biggest updates GTA Online had seen in a while, and there's a lot to take in. So we'll break this down into chapters with timestamps in the description below. We'll be going through why you'd want an arcade, purchasing options, earnings and return on investment, unlocks and purchases, the Diamond Casino heists, quality of life updates, arcade machines, and a few pro tips. So first things first, why on earth would you want to buy an arcade? Well, business aside, there are four main reasons. Access to the Diamond Casino heist. You'll need the arcade to unlock this set of heists, which will earn you around $6 million for your first run through and north of $2.1 million per subsequent heist run. Access to drones. With the drone controller add-on, you and up to 3 of your mates can zip around Los Santos with drones, wreaking havoc wherever you go, which is great for trolling griefers and KD warriors. The Master Control Center, which allows you to control more or less every other type of business in GTA. This is fantastic for resupplies and quickly checking the status of your other businesses in GTA Online. Genuinely passive income, and this one more or less speaks for itself. A fully kitted arcade will net you around $5,000 per in-game day or around $6,250 per real-world hour. On the real money side of things, the arcade business is similar to the high-end apartments. I mean, there's some passive component to it, don't get me wrong, but the real money is in the heists, and you can't do them solo. But if you have at least one mate you kick around with regularly, there's a reasonable amount of cash to be made. Don't get me wrong, it's not agency money, but it sure beats fleecer. So with that in mind, playing with a single experienced friend, and after a few rounds of the heist so you get your head around the preps, the potential earnings are around $1 million per hour, more on diamond or special event weeks. Of course, that also really depends on your experience, so don't quote me. Okay, so let's talk budget. To do anything meaningful in the arcade business, you need to be a VIP, motorcycle club president, or a CEO. Since VIPs no longer have the restrictions they used to, you no longer need to purchase an MC or an office. So that's a win. Once unlocked, you can purchase your arcade through Maze Bank Foreclosures, the website on your phone. And we have 6 options to choose from. Oh, and don't worry about the prices on screen, I picked these up during an event week. Pixel Pete's in Blaine County at $1.23 million. Wonderama, also in Blaine County, for $1.5 million. Videogeddon in La Mesa at $1,875,000. The Warehouse in Davis at $2,135,000. Insert Coin in Rockford Hills at $2,345,000, and 8-Bit in Vinewood at $2,530,000. Each of them has the same capacity and facilities: 10 vehicles, 4 drones, 14 games, and a safe. There's no difference there, nor is there any difference in passive income, making the only real difference travel distance and budget. If you're planning on grinding the heists a lot, then I'd recommend grabbing Videogeddon, which is the closest to the casino at about 2 minutes drive, and that's the one I've ended up going with. Next, we have some upgrades, starting with the decor. You can change the floor and trim. There's a free version, but you can spend up to $470,000 if you want to get really fancy. While you're there, you can also tweak the mural. There's a few different options available. Again, you can leave it as it comes at no additional cost, or you can spend up to $107,000 on the fancier aesthetic. For the trim and markings on the arcade floor, you have a few options as well. Starting with the free one and working our way through the different signs right up to the really fancy number 1 for around $165,000. The next aesthetic upgrade is the neon art. Again, there's a free option, but if you're feeling flush, you can step it up a notch, with the top option setting you back $320,000. And finally, you can also add a high score screen. It adds absolutely nothing to the business, but it's a cute flex at $295,000. For functional upgrades, you can go and grab the garage at $215,000, which allows you to store up to 10 regular-ish vehicles. And finally, you can also add a personal quarters from $150,000, so you can sport in at the arcade. This is really handy if you have most of your other properties on the other side of the map, as it can save you a lot of time. If you're wondering about the drone station, master control station, and the arcade machines, we'll get to them in a few moments, but they're $1,400,000 $1,460,000, $1,740,000, and up to $5,128,500 respectively. Once you've actually purchased a property, the expenses keep mounting too. In addition to the actual arcade, you'll need to eventually purchase machines. Right, so that's it for the actual expenses. There's really a minimum spend of $1,235,000, but if you can budget $10,600,000, you'll get closer to the casino and will also get the machines, drones, master control center, personal quarters, and the garage. Ouch. But at least the daily fees aren't too bad, at only $500 per day, plus an additional $50 if you have the garage. And with that in mind, assuming you don't go nuts on the arcade machines, you'll likely make your money back in the first round of Heist, which will net you and your teammate around $3 million each, including first-time bonuses. It's about $6 million total. And it will take you around 6 to 10 hours to complete, depending on skill level. So it's still not dray money, but with the drones, the additional garage space, the master control station, and a modest passive income, it's still worth the cash, in my humble opinion. Okay, to get rolling with this one, you'll have to start by catching up with Lester. Head over to the L on the map when you're ready, and that will trigger a cutscene. After that, head somewhere safe and purchase your arcade. Once you've made your purchase, head over to the new facility and head on in. You'll get a fun cutscene with Jimmy, Wendy, and Lester, as well as a bit of a briefing on how the arcade works. Once that's done, head over to the computer. Make sure you're a VIP or CEO, then sit down and log in. You'll be presented with a single option, Start. Click the button and you'll immediately be booted back to the lobby, and Lester will start chatting with you, presumably through an earpiece. Listen to it carefully, it's important. Once Lester's finished banging on, head to the marker on the map, and once you're there, Lester will give you someone to chase down. After you've found them, take out the driver. Do not blow up the truck. Jump in, fend off any idiots, and then drive the truck back to the arcade and park it around the rear of the building. Once that's done, you'll be dropped back out of the arcade. Wait a few moments and you'll get an interesting call from Young. It's weird, but still worth listening to. And after a few moments, you'll get another message from Lester. Head back to the arcade and you'll get the next cutscene. As Lester does, he'll take you through a few options for the heist. There's a bit of back and forth, but the upshot is we have 3 core approaches: aggressive, the big con, and silent and sneaky. Once Lester's finished banging on, you'll be dropped into the arcade basement and be presented with the whiteboard and your first scope out mission. This is to start the Diamond Casino heist, and it's a fair bit of fun. I won't go through the setups or the actual job in this video, but there are links to comprehensive guides in the description below. The next thing we can do, budget allowing, is to set up the additional bits and pieces for the arcade. Again, this is separate to the heist. To do this, head to the notebook at the table in the basement or the one in your office. Make sure you're an MC president, CEO or VIP, then sit down and log into the computer. Starting with the quality of life tweaks first, click the upgrades button at the top of the screen. Again, budget allowing, we have 2 options. At a whopping $1,740,000, we have the Master Control Station. This is fantastic if you also run other biker businesses, CEO businesses, or a nightclub, because it allows you to set up supply missions and keep an eye on stock levels. You can also use it for sell missions, but that's kind of silly, so don't do that. If you're so inclined, the drone station at $1,460,000 will allow you to fly drones all over the local area, and it will also give you access to the nano drone in free mode. For the uninitiated, drones are equipped with a taser and explode on command. They're great for getting to trolls in those hard to reach places. And for the passive earning side of the business, click on the arcade games button at the top of the screen. You'll notice you already have a couple of machines that come with the arcade, and out of the box you'll bring in around $3,000 per hour. And honestly, that's not bad for doing literally nothing. As budget allows, you can purchase individual games to fill out your arcade. Once you've purchased every machine in the arcade at a total cost of just under $5,130,000, you'll bring in around $6,000 per hour. Doing the figures, purchasing each additional machine will bring you an additional $3,000 per hour. That means we're looking at roughly 1,710 hours of in-game time to hit break even. That is a lot of hours. To give you some perspective, if you played GTA Online as your full-time job, that's 40 hours per week, it would still take you 10 months to recoup your cash. So the machines are a great aesthetic and a nice flex, but but they are not a great financial investment. Okay, pro tips. First up, like most businesses, if you're registered as some sort of manager, that's either a CEO, VIP, or MC president, the game assumes you're actively running your business, and that means they can be open to raids and attacks. If you're not actively working your business and you're not doing something that expressly requires you to be registered as a CEO, VIP, or MC president, then you should resign. This will significantly reduce the chance of having stock stolen or otherwise destroyed while you're not actively working the arcade. Same goes for almost every other type of business too. If you're not actively working something, resign your post as a VIP, CEO, or MC president. Next up, the Master Control Center. So the pro tip here is to use it for acquisition missions, but not sale missions. So if you're going to steal supplies, you need to source cargo or an export vehicle, the Master Control Center is a super quick way to do it. But do not start sell missions from here. It just adds unnecessary time and stress, as you'll still need to make your way to the goods before you start. Now, if you also have a nightclub, one of the easiest ways to maintain popularity is to change your resident DJ regularly. If you do this from the PC in your nightclub, you'll be subjected to a 30-second unskippable cutscene, then dumped onto the nightclub's dance floor. If you want to go back to the office, there's another 30 to 45 seconds of navigating the crowd, which is fine on its own, but if you want to change the resident DJ 4 or 5 times in a row to max your popularity, it can get really tedious. If you do this from the Master Control Center, there's no cutscene and no booting. You can simply back out and then enter the nightclub management console again. So instead of it taking about 5 minutes to bump your nightclub's popularity, it takes about 30 seconds. And finally, AFKing is a great way to grind out some of those hours for purely passive income. If you've not heard of the term before, AFK means away from keyboard, which is the practice of keeping the game open without actually participating in it. Now, the more experienced of you will know that after about 13 minutes of inactivity, Rockstar will terminate your session and boot you from online. But there's a way around it. If you have an LS Car Meet membership, which you can get for 50 grand, you can head to the test track. Once you're in, simply reverse back out, and as you head back up the ramp, you'll be dropped into an action menu. When that's popped up, just do nothing. Just leave your PC or your console on that screen and your session won't terminate. My standing record for AFKing this way is around 2 days straight. And if you don't have an LS Car Meet membership, you can do something similar at the casino. Head to the ground floor entrance, hop out of your vehicle, return it to storage, and walk into the front door. You'll get this interrupt screen asking where you want to go. Just leave it there and you won't be booted. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, wash your hands, and we'll see you in the next video.